Welcome to CinemaSouls. Today, we're diving into 10 Netflix action movies that don't just entertain, they echo with the struggles of the human spirit. Stories of redemption, second chances, love, and the dangerous choices that shape us. Stay with us, because by the end of this journey, you may discover a film that mirrors your own fight. Number 10. Sweet Girl, 2021. The movie follows Ray Cooper, a man who loses his wife to corporate greed disguised as medical failure. Suddenly, the quiet life of a devoted father is shattered, leaving him clinging to one thing, his daughter. Here's where things get gripping. Ray's story isn't just about revenge. It's about survival, about love, about the raw desperation of a parent who will walk through fire for their child. Each fight he takes on feels less like an action sequence and more like a heartbeat of grief turned into rage. And here's the soul lesson. Love, when tested by tragedy, can push us to do the impossible. But it can also ask us, how far will we go before we lose ourselves? Number 9. Officer Black Belt, 2024. The story revolves around Lee Jong-do, a martial artist hired to oversee offenders on probation. On paper, it sounds routine. But the movie throws him into encounters with violent criminals where his fists become both a shield and a lesson. Here's where things get interesting. Every fight he wins isn't just against the criminals, but against the temptation to abuse his power. In his comedy, in his patience, we see the daily fight of anyone who's been given responsibility, balancing strength with restraint. True power isn't just about striking hard. It's about knowing when not to strike. Number 8. The Man from Toronto, 2022. The movie follows Teddy Jackson, a clumsy salesman who wants nothing more than to fix his marriage. But in a hilarious twist, he's mistaken for a feared assassin, the Man from Toronto. One wrong Airbnb booking, and suddenly Teddy is living a nightmare of mistaken identity. And just when you think the worst is over, the FBI steps in and forces him to play along. Imagine being ordinary one moment, and the next, you're face to face with killers who think you're the deadliest man alive. Sometimes life hands us roles we never auditioned for. And in those moments, courage isn't about being ready, it's about showing up scared, yet refusing to quit. Number 7. Lost Bullet, 2020. The story follows Lino, a gifted mechanic recently released from prison, who seeks a fresh start. But when he's framed for murder, he has to race against time to prove his innocence, armed with nothing but his wits, his car, and a stubborn refusal to give up. Here's where things get powerful. The bullet lodged in his car literally holds the key to his freedom. It's not just an action sequence, it's a metaphor. Sometimes the truth is within our reach, but the world conspires to bury it. And maybe this is why it hits so hard. Many of us know what it's like to be doubted, to be misjudged. And like Lino, we keep fighting, not just for justice, but to remind ourselves that we are more than our past mistakes. Number 6. Back in Action. The movie follows Emily and Matt, two retired spies who've traded secrets and danger for family and peace. But peace doesn't last. When their identities are exposed, the quiet life they built is shattered, dragging them back into the shadows of espionage. What's fascinating here is the tension. Can two people who've built a new identity survive when their old one comes back for them? Here's where things get interesting. In facing their past, they rediscover their strength, their unity, and their courage. And maybe that's the point. Our past doesn't vanish. Sometimes it returns not to haunt us, but to prove how far we've come, and how much stronger we now stand. Number 5. Army of the Dead, 2021. The story unfolds in Las Vegas, unlike anything you've seen, once the City of Lights, now sealed off, crawling with the undead. At the center stands Scott Ward, a father estranged from his daughter, offered one last shot at redemption. Lead a crew into zombie territory, steal millions, and walk away alive. But here's the soul within the chaos. This isn't just a heist against zombies, it's a man clawing back the respect of his child. Every step in the ruined streets, every bullet fired, is less about money and more about reconciliation. The question it asks is haunting. What would you risk, what monsters would you face, to heal the bond with someone you love? Number 4. Spencer Confidential, 2020. The movie follows Spencer, a disgraced cop just released from prison. He dreams of escape, of freedom, of leaving the corruption behind. But life has other plans. A shocking crime pulls him back into the city's underbelly, forcing him to confront the same system that once chewed him up. Here's where things get soulful. Spencer teams up with Hawk, a towering MMA fighter who, at first glance, couldn't be more different. But together, they form an unlikely brotherhood. It's a reminder that sometimes the people who walk into your life unexpectedly are the ones who help you fight battles you could never win alone. Number 3. Beverly Hills Cop, Axel F., 2024. Decades later, Axel Foley returns, not the same brash cop, but a father running to protect his estranged daughter. The action crackles with comedy and chaos, but beneath it lies a broken relationship trying to heal. Here's where things get emotional. Jane, his daughter, resents him for being absent, reckless, and always chasing the badge instead of being there. And yet, when her life is threatened, the only man willing to break the rules for her is him. This movie reminds us that sometimes love doesn't look perfect. It looks messy, late, even reckless. But it's love all the same, and when danger comes, it reveals itself with fire. Number 2. The Harder They Fall, 2021. The story explores Nat Love, a man scarred by the murder of his parents. His life becomes a quest for revenge against Rufus Buck, the outlaw who destroyed his childhood. When Rufus escapes prison, Nat gathers his own crew for a final showdown. But here's the soulful twist. Revenge feels satisfying for a moment, but it always leaves a shadow. The film is stylish, sharp, full of gunfights and betrayals, but its real weight lies in asking, when does justice end and obsession begin? And maybe that's the truth of life, too. If we let bitterness drive us, we may win battles, but lose ourselves. Number 1. Triple Frontier, 2019. And finally, Triple Frontier. The movie follows 5 former soldiers, brothers in arms, who reunite for one last mission. On paper, it's a heist against a drug lord in South America. But underneath, it's about men lost in the aftermath of war, searching for purpose, for belonging, for one final shot at significance. Here's where it hits home. As their mission spirals out of control, loyalty is tested, greed tempts them, and survival becomes the only goal. It's thrilling, but also deeply human, because who among us hasn't wrestled with the question, what is my life worth? What is enough? So there you have it, 10 Netflix action movies that do more than pump adrenaline. They reveal truths about us, about love, sacrifice, loyalty, and the thin line between justice and vengeance. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these films spoke to you the most? Drop your soul's reaction in the comments. I'd love to hear your soul's reaction. And don't forget, subscribe to CinemaSouls, where every movie and series isn't just entertainment. It's a reflection of us. Here, we don't just watch movies, we listen for the heartbeat inside them. Until next time, stay soulful, stay cinematic.